Hey Cacher, Derek here, Basic Six Clan. Today we're going to get back into working on the Smart Cache, but we're going to be working on the design of the container. So let's get started. Alright, so I know I've been taking a lot of time on the Smart Cache, and for good reason. One, like I said before, it's going to New Zealand, and since I live here in the US, it's a little hard to do cache maintenance, so I've been really thinking about how all the components are really going to go together. The biggest thing for me is that I want to make sure that there's not a lot of cache maintenance to this build, because it's hard for me to go to New Zealand to go fix a cache. So I want to make sure that I'm building it so that the cache owner that's going to be getting it, Richard Coote from GeoRix Travels, is going to be able to fix it or be able to update it if there's any problems. And that's why we've used a lot of the different components, from the speaker that we've used, and this speaker has the volume control on it, so if he needs to adjust the volume, he has to go up and down on the volume instead of having to do any coding. So one of the things that we're trying to work out as well is how can we get access to the batteries and the components pretty easily. And so trying to build that container to be able to do that, plus be able to have that latch be able to fire open for the door itself. So what I've come up with, and I'm going to kind of use the size of a container that I've built before as kind of a basis of what I'm going to use. And this one is the one that I did the tongue and groove on. And I think this is going to be a good size for it, because Richard sent me some dimensions that he was kind of wanting for it. And this is pretty close to it. It might be a little bit wider than that he had asked for, but because of the components that we're having to put into it, we're going to have to make it a little bit wider anyway. So this box here is a really good size box. So I'm going to kind of use this as a basis for it. But I'm going to have to change out the hinges in here for way things are going to be opening. So what I need to do is kind of take this design here, and I'm going to go ahead and use an app that I use on my iPad that I've started using when I'm doing some designs, because I really do want to replicate this design and put it out here somewhere in the Memphis area. So may not be completely what the one that he's doing. It's going to be our own for this area, for maybe Cache Fest or something. So I'm going to use an app called GoodNotes, because in that app I can actually sketch out what I want it to do, and it can be very precise, and I can use a grid paper on there as well and get everything measured out the way I need it. So what I'm going to do now is going to get some measurements of this box and go ahead and sketch it out onto my iPad of what I want to do. And like I said, I don't do this with every single cache that I make, because sometimes I let the material dictate the way I'm going to do it, but this one I need to let the components dictate and the area that it's going to be going into to kind of figure out how it's all going to go together into this box. So let's get those designs done. Alright, so now I've drawn out some of the preliminary sketches as I was getting some measurements on here and kind of corresponding them to inside here. Now, one of the things I have to really think about is, once again, I'm going to go back to this cache maintenance of how to get access to the smart aspect of this cache. And that really tells me how I need to open this up at the top so they can get easy access to it, but not let the cache finders get in there as well. So there's some components that I'm going to be adding into this that I will show you when I get to the build of the inside of this. Now, the other thing I did not tell you is I'm actually going to be using two types of medium for this. One, I'm going to be using PVC board, and the reason is because of the location it's going to in New Zealand. I'm not really familiar with a lot of the weather aspect of it, and I know this is going to last out there really well. Now, where I'm going to be putting the door to where the logbook is going to be, that is actually going to be made out of acrylic. So I'm going to make an acrylic door down here to be able to sling that open really nicely and be able to get access to the logbook. So it's actually going to be two different mediums that's going to be going into this cache. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this gives you kind of an aspect of how maybe to be able to do designs. Like I said, I'm using my iPad and using GoodNotes, and I really do like that app. And this is not sponsored by GoodNotes, so don't worry about that. It's not sponsored. I just like the app because it can lock the lines and they're really great. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know, how do you design your gadget caches, or do you do it just regular on grid paper? Do you use a smart device, or what do you use? I'd really love to hear from you, and I look forward to hearing your comments and seeing the messages that you send me. But hey, don't go anywhere. Go check out another one of these videos just right over here and find the story behind the cash.